So let's start, and the microphone goes to Ben.
Thank you very much. So let's start with a little bit presentation for each of you guys. So Nimrod, can you tell me a little bit about your practice?
All right, so good evening. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. Our firm is a firm of lawyers, accountants, tax advisors, and economists, owned by former officials in the Israeli tax authority. We deal only with taxation, mainly with international taxation. We're representing companies, private and public companies, venture capitals, and foreign governments here in Israel. And it's great to be here.
Thank you. My great friend Shmuel.
The FinTech community, innovation community, Fintech.IL, which is a joint venture between our NGO and all the regulators in Israel, Bank of Israel, the Securities Authority, the Financial Market Authority, the Innovation Authority, Ministry of Finance, Economy, etc., etc. Happy to be here. Thank you, Shmuel.
Avital.
Okay, so first of all, apologies for not being able to be there physically with you in Tel Aviv. I'm actually in Europe this week, not in Latvia, unfortunately, but I will be there for the next event in Tel Aviv for sure. So my name is Avital. I am coordinating the blockchain practice in Gornitzky, which is one of the leading law firms in Israel, one of the largest and prominent law firms. It's a young firm. It exists only around 85 years now, even prior to the establishment of the State of Israel. Our fintech and blockchain practices are naturally a bit younger, but are still recognized and considered one of the leadings in Israel. I'm happy to be here and join you for this panel. Thank you.
So Nimrod, let's start with you. So what is the benefits for Israeli company to open a company or to establish in Latvia? Talk from a tax perspective.
Okay, so actually I was at Riga at the last year's FinTech conference, and it was great to see a thriving community of entrepreneurs that are not afraid to deal with the standard banking system. I think that this new opportunity of MICA license, together with the great tax system in Latvia, have a very big advantage for Israeli FinTech. In Latvia, the corporate tax rate is 20%, but you don't pay it unless you distribute the money out of the company. So actually, you can get a loan from the government without interest, and you can still use the money until you take it out.
So I don't pay every year my income tax?
Exactly, exactly.
Unless you take in the company and use it for more investments?
And for startups, it's great, because if you earn money at let's say the third year, and then in the fourth, you want to invest this money, so you have much more money to invest, and if you lose in the fourth and earn in the fifth, you just, you pay only for what you took out of the company. So when you get this tax system, together with the possibility to enter the European financial market with this MICA license, I think it's a great opportunity.
Sounds great.
Just a minute, just last thing to say that LIA helps a lot. Okay, when you come to Latvia and when you see the atmosphere, the business atmosphere in Latvia, and I'm saying that as one that was in Latvia this year twice with clients and companies, you get a lot of help from the authorities. It's very simple, it's very friendly, and it's much more easier than a lot of other places.
Thanks. So my next question, Avital. What is the big differences between the MICA to the Israeli regulation of crypto assets?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. So I think The major differences is MICA is establishing kind of comprehensive licensing requirements for crypto businesses operating in the EU. And it's one regime, the rules are very clear on what you need and what are the processes and what kind of operating fintechs needs to get a license and on which kind of digital assets. The Israeli landscape is quite different. It's less comprehensive comparing to the EU regime, but also it's very divided between various regulators in Israel. So you have some regulation by the Bank of Israel, some regulation by the Israeli Securities Authority, a bit of the Capital Markets Authority, which does give certain licenses to certain financial services providers, which also deal with blockchain, but there is no clear regime, there is no one clear program you need to sign up. You don't have a very clear list of steps you need to take as a financial service provider or any other company operating in this field, which makes it very difficult for Israeli companies to also gain clarity regarding the steps they need to take. Honestly speaking, and the presentations we heard earlier from our Latvian friends really show the possibilities for a clear regime and a supporting government. There's a lot of talent in Israel, but unfortunately the regulation is just not there yet at the moment.
Shmuel, how do you see the potential for Israeli fintechs to work in Europe through Latvia?
Yeah, as probably most of you know, we have in Israel a very strange paradox. On one hand, we are global leaders in fintech technology, selling our know-how all over the world. There are over 20 Israeli unicorns in fintech, but the local market is still lagging behind. Not enough competition, not enough technology implemented here. So when we look at what the European has done with MICA, I think we have two lessons. First of all, if they've gone all the way and really designed a very, very comprehensive system that answers most of the questions, let's not try to reinvent the wheel. We can take the lesson from there. And as we have now in consumer products,
Exactly.
What's good for Europe is good for Israel. I think the same can apply in regulation. So I would just copy-paste the MICA and implement it into the Israeli law, and that's it. The other side of it, of course, is that because most of our business are not in Israel, it's a great opportunity because Israeli companies, fintech companies, in the blockchain and related areas have easier life in dealing with EU regulation. It is one unified system, and if they can make it in Latvia and go through the regulation, it will help them then in France and in Germany and Italy. So I think that it's a great opportunity which puts the, I think, European market in front of the American one, which is the more natural attraction for Israeli companies. So I very welcome the regulation and what Latvia is offering for it.
So you mentioned the US economy, the US regime. So Avital, what are the big differences between the US regulation and the MICA regulation? If I was a new startup, a new fintech, where should I work?
Well, that's a good question. If you would have asked me prior to the last election in the US, I would tell you it's 100% Europe and don't even get close to the US. But it seems like the wind is blowing to another direction just now. Obviously, it's too early to say, but Trump did made a lot of promises during his campaign. He also participated in some crypto conferences and made a lot of noise about it. it seems, at least from his promises, that he's going to be crypto friendly. He's going to fire the head of the securities authorities in the US, which was very anti crypto. But at the moment, still, there is only one MICA, and it only exists in Europe. In the US, you still don't have a federal regime which applies to all. You do have some state laws. You do see some very nice developments in the DeFi space, especially regarding DAOs. The Tuna is the latest one of them, but you still don't have a very comprehensive regime like Europe. I think the European already stated that they think MICA is going to be the next GDPR, and due to the crypto world that the GDPR did to the privacy sphere. So I think because it's the very first comprehensive regulation, it's probably going to set some sort of a precedent, and probably countries will follow it. In the US, it's still, it's too early to say where the regulation is going. We know it's probably going to be crypto friendly, but we really don't know the way this regulation is going to be established and the way it will look. So at the moment, Europe is still the most attractive jurisdiction, I would say. Yeah, that's basically the main differences, I think.
Thank you very much. So, Shmuel, how you see the potential of the cooperation between fintechs here in Israel, fintech communities here in Israel with fintech communities in Latvia?
Yeah, I think there is a great potential, and from what I heard today, it's even more than I imagined before. First of all, we, as the Israel FinTech Center, have extensive international relations with many countries. I think we have today about 40 signed MOUs with fintech associations from all over the world. And unfortunately, to this date, we don't have any agreement with Latvia. But I think this is going to change in the next few weeks, because I'm sure Irina and her colleagues will introduce her to the counterparts there. And what we normally do with associations that we have relations with, first of all, we do, we compare notes. First of all, about regulation. And in many instances, we got from our foreign friends ideas how to talk with our regulators. So you don't see the fingerprints, but some of the changes that have been made in Israel in the recent years also get ideas from fintech associations abroad. The other thing is, of course, connecting business. So if we can arrange, like we've done before, a webinar of Israeli fintechs together with Latvian ones, find the common denominators, see what kind of cooperation they can do, export-wise, investment-wise, joint ventures. When two business people in similar areas get together and start to talk, things come out. So we hope that this is the next step for us.
Nimrod, so we talk about the tax in Latvia if I'm a company. Let's say if I just hold crypto in Latvia, and now I sell the crypto and I have some revenues. So the MICA or the local regulation in Latvia is also talking, establishing the law. What is the percentage for this kind of event?
So from what I know, I'm not a Latvian accountant, of course, but from what I know, there is no difference between the taxes on crypto. I mean, between crypto and other things. Okay, so it should be the same. I think that most of our clients will hold companies. Okay, and we had actually a couple of years ago, we had ICO that was in the Baltics, and I think that this MICA license can be a great, a great help for the crypto market, and we can have ICOs in Latvia, and we can create a system in which for Israelis, okay, we can create a system in which an Israeli company can enjoy the capital investment law in Israel for the IP, and then have the ICO in Latvia. They can exchange crypto to fiat in Latvia and then send some of the money to Israel, reinvest it in Latvia. We have a lot of opportunities with this new regime.
So we have with us someone from Latvia also? No, never mind. I can ask Avital another question. So Avital, how you see the impact of the MICA regulation in Europe over here in Israel? And I will be more precise. If I'm a startup here in Israel, or even if I'm a financial institution that explore crypto and want to create a new product or services in crypto, so till now I still didn't have any clarity regarding the regulation, let's say, in the world, in Europe, in the USA. So how do you see the impact of the MICA rules over here in Israel?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, first of all, it's the increased market access. Now, Israeli crypto companies can benefit from the clarity MICA provides. It basically allows them to access the EU markets more easily and with a clear regulatory framework. Israeli fintechs can now seek a MICA license and basically operate in the EU and offer their services to European clients. I think MICA will also offer them some sort of competitive advantage, even if they are not targeting Europe. Again, I believe that MICA will become some sort of a golden standard similar to the GDPR. And when Israeli companies, will put a badge of MICA compliant on their website or their marketing materials, it also has a very serious meaning to it, because MICA puts a lot of emphasis on consumer protection and AML. So it really is kind of a proof for the companies, for the serious level companies dedicated to compliance and to security features. So it also, legally speaking, if Israeli companies want to target the European market, they need to be licensed by MICA, but they also kind of should want to be licensed or at least be MICA compliant, because it seems like it's going to be the golden standard. It will offer them a lot of opportunities. And I will also add, as Shmuel mentioned before, traditionally, the Israeli market follows the US market, but it has been already we heard the Israeli Securities Authority mentioning a few times they're following MICA closely. We even held a conference with them together at Gornitzky and Fintech.IL last month, and they gave a lecture, and they're following MICA closely, and they are looking to incorporate at least some of its articles into the Israeli regulations. So it seems that on this specific blockchain crypto regulatory aspects, the Israeli regulators in general are going to follow MICA. So Israeli businesses should really get to know MICA and to try to be compliant as possible in order to have this business advantage and to be able to compete with all of the European fintechs moving forward.
Thank you, Avital. I can even add for what you say that the banks here in Israel are looking on the banks in Europe. And recently we have a session with KPMG Spain with our colleagues, and they share with us that the 3 of the largest banks in Spain just waited for the MICA to be valid and to go out with a new product to provide their retail customer to buy Bitcoin and ETH through the banking app, just like that. Like you buying a share of Apple, now you can buy a Bitcoin. It's projects that they waited for the MICA rules. And over here in Israel, when we spoke about it with the banks in Israel, they going to run to the Bank of Israel with this with this change in the regulation in Europe. And I think the regulators over here, if they won't see any regulation in the US, they will go to the EU, and they will learn from there. We just saw it recently with the AI Act, because the US have nothing like it. So the regulators in their report a month or two ago just quoted the AI Act massively, and even said it's like the AI Act in the Europe. So I think the MICA is going to impact over here the regulators and the businesses, and it will be great for companies in Israel to be MICA licensed, or at least with the same principles. Okay, thank you very much, everyone.